Welcome back, everyone, for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about strength training,
Yes.
and this is aimed at people over 60.
Absolutely.
So if you're over 60, this is for you. If you're not over 60, you might want to listen anyway, because you're going to be over 60 someday.
That's true.
And we've been looking at all kinds of research
Yes.
on this, and we're really excited to share some of this stuff with you.
Yeah. There's some really interesting stuff. And like you said, it's all backed by science and research. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we've always heard that,
Yeah.
strength training and weightlifting and things like that are really good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But, you always kind of think of it as like something that younger people do
Yeah.
to, get buff or whatever.
Right. Exactly. To get a certain look or whatever.
Yeah, and this is really looking at it from a completely different perspective,
A different angle. Yes.
which is how to improve your quality of life and how to really help yourself stay independent longer.
Yes, exactly. And that's what's so exciting about the research is that it really emphasizes that it's never too late to start
That's right.
and that the benefits are truly significant.
So, so one of the things that we came across a lot in the research
Right.
was this term sarcopenia. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So sarcopenia is basically the natural loss of muscle mass and bone density that happens as we age.
Okay.
Um, and so it's a natural process, but it's something that we can definitely influence through lifestyle choices and particularly through strength training.
So this is something that everybody's going to experience to some degree.
Exactly. It's part of aging, but we can slow it down and actually reverse some of those effects
Okay.
with the right approach.
So what's the big deal about losing muscle mass and bone density?
Well, it affects a lot of things. I mean, it affects your strength, obviously. It affects your balance and
Yeah.
increases your risk of falls and fractures. And it can really have a negative impact on your overall quality of life and independence.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, as you get older, balance becomes a bigger and bigger issue.
Absolutely.
I mean, for everybody. I mean,
Right.
like, when you're a little kid, you can trip and you just like bounce right back up.
Right.
When you're older, you trip, you're much more likely to really injure yourself.
Exactly. You're more fragile.
Yeah.
And so strength training can help to address that
Okay.
by building that muscle mass and improving your bone density.
So it's not just about,
Yeah.
looking good.
No, it's not about aesthetics. It's about function.
Right.
It's about being able to live your life to the fullest.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
So how does strength training, how does that work? Like, how does that reverse those things or slow down those things?
So when you engage in strength training, you're essentially creating tiny little tears in your muscle fibers,
Okay.
and then your body repairs those tears, and the muscles actually become stronger and denser. It's like you're breaking it down to build it back up stronger.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of like
Yeah,
when you break a bone,
Right.
it heals stronger.
exactly. It's a similar concept.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So we also looked at some of the research from Dr. Maryam Nelson at Tufts University.
Yes, Dr. Nelson's work was really groundbreaking in this field.
Yeah. So can you talk about that a little bit?
So she focused specifically on older women.
Okay.
And what she found was that even women in their 70s and 80s could significantly increase their strength and bone density through a regular strength training program.
Wow.
And that led to all sorts of improvements in their daily lives.
Like what kind of things?
They were able to get up from a chair more easily. They had a reduced risk of falls and fractures.
Okay.
And they just generally had a better quality of life.
So it's not just about,
Yeah.
just those specific things. It's
Yeah.
it's really about overall.
Yeah, it translates into every aspect of their lives.
Wow.
It's pretty remarkable.
That is remarkable. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
Dr. Nelson's work was sort of built on some earlier research
Yes.
that was done by
Right.
Dr. William J. Evans and Dr. Irwin H. Rosenberg,
Exactly.
who also were at Tufts.
Mhm.
And they were doing stuff back in the 90s.
Yeah, they were pioneers in this field.
What was some of the stuff that they were doing?
So they were among the first to really rigorously study sarcopenia and its impact on the aging body.
Okay.
And they demonstrated that even individuals in their 70s and 80s
Wow.
could experience significant gains in strength and muscle mass through resistance training.
So they were kind of challenging that conventional wisdom that.
Absolutely. They were challenging the idea that as you get older, you inevitably decline.
Right.
And they showed that that's not necessarily true.
Wow.
Yeah, they had a landmark study in 1992 with participants aged 72 to 89.
Okay.
And even after just 8 weeks of progressive resistance training, these individuals experienced an average increase of over 100% in strength.
100%.
100%. That's amazing, right?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really encouraging.
It's super encouraging, and it just shows you the potential
Yeah.
that's there.
So,
Yeah,
so there's actual science behind this.
absolutely.
It's not just like,
Oh, it's
anecdotal.
not just people saying, "Oh, I feel better."
Right.
It's actually been studied, and the results are very clear.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, and speaking of anecdotal, but also very inspiring, we came across the story of Ernestine Shepherd.
Oh, yes, Ernestine Shepherd. What an amazing woman.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about her?
So she's the world's oldest competitive female bodybuilder,
Wow.
and she started in her mid-50s.
So she didn't even start when she was young.
No, she didn't.
Wow.
She's a real inspiration.
Yeah.
She shows that age is truly not a barrier to achieving your fitness goals.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's a great example.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
so we've talked about some of the benefits of strength training, but let's get into like the nitty-gritty. Like, how does this actually work? Like, what's going on in the body when you're doing strength training,
Sure.
like at a cellular level or whatever?
So at the most basic level, when you lift weights or do any kind of resistance exercise, you're creating these micro tears in your muscle fibers.
Okay.
And as your body repairs those tears, the muscle fibers become thicker and stronger.
Okay.
That's the basic principle behind muscle growth.
So it's kind of like a controlled injury
Yeah, you could say that.
that then heals and makes the muscle stronger.
Exactly.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And we also read about how strength training can affect your metabolism.
Yes, definitely.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
So muscle tissue burns more calories than fat tissue even at rest.
Oh, okay.
So by building more muscle through strength training, you're essentially increasing your metabolism,
I see.
which can help you maintain a healthy weight.
So you're kind of like building a bigger engine
Exactly. It's like a more efficient engine.
that burns more fuel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's especially important as we get older because our metabolism naturally slows down.
Right.
So strength training can help to counteract that.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
the sources talked about how it can improve your insulin sensitivity.
That's right.
What is insulin sensitivity?
Insulin sensitivity is basically how well your body responds to insulin.
Okay.
Insulin is a hormone that helps your body use glucose for energy.
Okay.
And when your insulin sensitivity is good, your body can use glucose more efficiently, which helps to regulate your blood sugar levels.
Okay.
So strength training can actually improve your insulin sensitivity.
Okay. So it's helping to
Yeah.
kind of prevent diabetes?
It can help to prevent type 2 diabetes or manage it if you already have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we also read about how it can be good for your cardiovascular system.
Yes, strength training can have a positive impact on your heart and blood vessels.
Okay.
It can help to lower your blood pressure, improve your cholesterol levels, and just generally improve the health of your cardiovascular system.
So it's not just about the muscles.
No, it's about your whole body.
It's a whole system thing.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And what about the mental benefits?
Oh, yeah, there are tons of mental benefits to strength training.
Really?
Yeah, it can improve your cognitive function,
Huh?
reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety.
Wow.
And there's even some evidence that it might help to delay the onset of dementia.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So it's like a workout for your brain as well as your body.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
say somebody's over 60
Hmm.
and they're listening to this
Right.
and they're thinking, okay, this all sounds great.
Yeah.
Where do I start?
That's a great question.
What would you tell them?
So the first thing I would say is start slow and steady.
Okay,
Don't try to do too much too soon.
right.
Start with lighter weights and focus on proper form.
Yeah.
It's more important to do the exercises correctly than to lift heavy weights,
Mm.
with bad form.
You'll hurt yourself.
Exactly. You don't want to get injured.
Right.
So start slow and gradually increase the weight as you get stronger.
Okay.
And make sure you're listening to your body. If you're feeling pain, stop and rest.
Yeah.
And then in terms of what exercises to do, I would say focus on compound exercises.
What are compound exercises?
Compound exercises are exercises that work multiple muscle groups at the same time.
Okay.
So things like squats, lunges, presses, those are all compound exercises.
Okay.
And they're really efficient because they work a lot of muscles at once.
Okay, so you're kind of getting more bang for your buck
Exactly.
with
Very-
those exercises.
Okay. And then I would also say make sure you're incorporating some flexibility and balance exercises into your routine.
Okay.
Things like yoga or Tai Chi.
Yeah.
Those can help to improve your range of motion and your stability
Okay.
and reduce your risk of falls.
Yeah, that's really important as you get older.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, those are some of the basic tips.
Okay, and how often should somebody be doing this?
I would say Aim for at least 2 to 3 strength training sessions per week.
Okay.
Um, and, you don't have to spend hours in the gym. Even 30 minutes to an hour is enough, as long as you're consistent.
Okay.
That's the key.
Gotcha. Yeah. So 2 to 3 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah. And listen to your body, rest when you need to.
Right.
And don't be afraid to ask for help from a qualified trainer if you need it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, if you've never done this before, it's good to have somebody who knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
Kind of show you the ropes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we also came across some more like outside the box tips for
Sure.
people who are,
Yeah.
getting into strength training or want to make it more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Can you share some of those?
Sure. So one tip was to combine strength training with social activities.
Okay.
So, join a group fitness class or find a workout buddy. That way you can socialize and get your workout in at the same time.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it more fun.
Yeah.
And you're more likely to stick with it.
Yeah, because if you're doing it with somebody else, you're kind of accountable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then another tip was to leverage technology.
Okay.
There are so many fitness apps and online classes available now
Right.
that are specifically designed for older adults.
Oh, wow.
So you can do your workouts at home at your own pace.
Yeah, that's convenient.
It is.
Yeah.
And, you can find something that really suits your interests and your fitness level.
Right.
Yeah.
So we also read about some pretty interesting facts
Oh, yeah.
in our research.
There were some fascinating findings.
Yeah. Can you share some of those?
Sure. So one study found that older adults who regularly engaged in resistance training felt up to 20 years younger.
20 years.
20 years. That's amazing, right?
That's a huge difference.
It is.
Wow.
It just shows you how powerful strength training can be.
Yeah. It's not just about the physical changes.
Right.
It's about how you feel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about your overall well-being.
Wow. That's really cool.
It is.
And what else did we come across?
Another interesting finding was that strength training can improve sleep quality.
Really?
And increase energy levels.
Oh, wow.
So you sleep better and you have more energy throughout the day.
So it's like a win-win.
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
If you were to like sum up
Yeah.
the main takeaway of this deep dive, what would it be?
I would say the main takeaway is that strength training is an incredibly valuable tool for anyone over 60.
Okay.
It's not just about building muscle. It's about improving your overall health and well-being,
Right.
your physical health, your mental health, your quality of life, your independence.
So it's really an investment.
It is an investment in your future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we wrap this up, what's like one final thought?
Okay, so one final thought is this: even small amounts of strength training can make a big difference.
Okay.
You don't have to go to the gym every day and lift heavy weights.
Right.
Just start with a few simple exercises a couple of times a week
Okay.
and gradually increase the intensity as you get stronger.
Right.
The key is consistency.
Consistency.
Just keep doing it and you will see results.
That's a great thought to leave us with.
Yeah,
So thank you for joining us for this deep dive into strength training.
my pleasure.
After 60, we hope you found it informative and inspiring, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye.